Good afternoon and welcome to TableTakes and happy Friday. I'm Peter Adkison and this is TableTakes, the Gen Con weekly news and chat show. We are broadcasting to you live from an enthralling little corner of the internet we call Gen Con TV, which is also the home of several excellent shows at the heart of geek culture. Our TableTakes producer is God King Marcus, and my enthusiastic, insightful, and sometimes enigmatic co-hosts are Javion, Bonsai Baby, and the Noir Enigma. Javion, how are you doing today?
I'm fantastic. I have been waiting for this book to come in for a very long time. I'm super excited to finally get a chance to show it off. It's the Codex of Worlds. This is
Ooh.
the expansion book with expanded rules for Monster of the Week, my favorite RPG system. And it adds in tons of stuff, more settings, instead of it just being sort of accepted that it's modern. Now you can play in a variety of different kinds of settings, spooky to fantasy to even a little bit more avant-garde. We have much more like team playbooks and stuff to play with. There's essays on world building and character creation and things like that. So I'm really excited to use it on all of y'all at the end of the stream today for game night.
Wow, that sounds great. Um, Bonsai, how are you today?
I'm doing great, awesome, fantastic, and also I got a Kickstarter big game in the mail. It's called Ice. It's a kind of like peel back the layers, explore, and dig up artifacts type of game. It's a big box. It's hefty. It's heavy. I can't wait to play it. Oh, and I know somebody else got this bot for Kickstarter, but didn't get it there in the mail. Oh no, so unfortunate. But I
Yeah,
got
rub it
it.
in, Bonsai. Just rub it in.
Bonsai's been picking fights with everybody today.
I'm fighting people. But yes, no, it's very exciting. I have to wait. I've been waiting to open it. It's very pretty. I love the artwork for it. So yes. Also, I've have friends who are already like sharing their lists in Discord of where they're going to be buying or what they're going to be buying and what tables they're going to be hitting for Gen Con. So they're already making their shopping list already.
Yeah, we Bonsai is a bit provocative today. You're really poking at everybody. Well, let's move on to Noir. Noir, how are you today?
Yeah.
How's it go? Yeah.
Hello. I'm good. I'm very good. Let's see. What's been going on this month? Got my Gen Con schedule all ready to go. Oh, and we announced over on Q Times that I'm going to be in a Werewolf the Apocalypse game for 5th edition. And if you would also like to play Werewolf the Apocalypse, then you're gonna have to come to Gen Con because that is where it's being released. So
Wow. That
join
sounds
me
fun.
in Howling at the Moon.
Oh, that sounds great. That sounds excellent. Hey, by the way, stick around. After our headlines later in the show today, we have a very special guest who will be joining us, Chelsea Steverson from Kobold Press, otherwise also called Dot, if you might know her by Dot. Stick around. I can't wait to see how she's up to. All right, our first headline. Let's get into it. Is that all right, guys? Can we do it? Can we get into it now?
Yeah, we just jump
Okay.
right on in there.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Let's just go right on. Okay, well, let's start with some legal news. Our first headline today comes courtesy of Jeffrey Dome Sanchez of ICV2. Thank you for bringing us this headline. Upper Deck released an official statement in response to Ravensburger's motion to dismiss the company's lawsuit over the Disney Lorcana TCG. Upper Deck filed the lawsuit against designer Ryan Miller and Ravensburger in June 2023, claiming that Miller breached his work-for-hire agreement with Upper Deck, and Ravensburger used the materials from his work on Rush of Ichor to help create the Lorcana TCG. The motion to dismiss was filed by Ravensburger on July 13th, 2023. This motion essentially stated that the court that this lawsuit was filed in that the court it was filed in lacked jurisdiction to rule on the complaint. And Ravensburger's legal advisor, Brian Lewis, asserted that the lawsuit was more of a PR stunt than a genuine legal dispute. Upper Deck's official response by President Jason Mashera to the motion was as follows. Ravensburger's attempted dismissal fails to address Upper Deck's merited lawsuit to protect Upper Deck's intellectual property. This is a strategic deflection of our core allegations. We will continue to prosecute this case to enforce our rights and to ensure fair play within the gaming community. This motion will be ruled on August 14, 2023, after Disney Lorcana's launch at Gen Con on August 5 to 9 in Indianapolis, Indiana. So I just have one little word to say. It is really, don't get into the prediction game. It is pretty much impossible to predict how this will play out. If you want to live a life of unfulfilled expectations and crushed dreams, put your trust in the predictions of attorneys about how a legal action will unfold. Enough said. There's nothing to do, but let's watch and enthralled and see what happens.
I know there was a lot of legal jargon there, so maybe sometimes a little bit of information gets lost in all of that. But for folks who maybe haven't been following this as closely, basically Upper Deck said, hey, we're making this game. It's called The Rush of Icor. It's still in development, and Lorcana ripped us off. And then they tried to do a whole lawsuit thing. So we're still in the aftermath of the lawsuit here.
That's exactly. Go ahead, Noir.
I never doubt the mouse. That's all I'm saying. Like,
don't fight the mouse. That's all.
If the mouse wants the game, I think the mouse is gonna get the game.
Yeah, well, I pretty good. All right, we'll see what happens. Sometimes the underdog, though. Sometimes the underdog, bites back. But yeah, I already commented perhaps more than I should have about Upper Deck in the last time I was on this show covering this. Let's move right along. Star Trek. Something about Star Trek, Noir? What?
Oh, yeah.
You have an inside connection there, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. I am a Trekkie for life. I would grab my phaser, but I think it's out of reach. But we've got some news again from Jeffrey Doe Sanchez. Man, you need to sleep at some point. Modiphius announces Star Trek Adventure Solo RPG. Modiphius Entertainment announced Captain's Log solo role-playing game, a new Star Trek Adventure solo RPG, which is going to hit retail stores in August 2023. Yeesh. In this game, a player can write their own Captain's Log as they boldly go where no man has gone before. They can create or randomly generate missions without a game master and tackle them by deciding which actions their crew can take to complete them. The game weaves a vibrant story as the player explores strange new worlds and new civilizations. The game also allows for cooperative play where friends can come on as the captain's senior staff. The game can be played in different Star Trek eras, ranging from the 21st century all the way to the 32nd century, which change based on the comm badge on the cover of the book. Personally, I think that this is a wonderful supplement for the Star Trek TTRPG that's already out there. If you want your character to have a more detailed and illustrious backstory, I think that this RPG is a great way to create that and a great tool for your GM to utilize in the overall campaign. So this is very exciting. I can't wait to get my hands on it. Modiphius has been killing it with their Star Trek RPG, and I just want more of it. Give me all the Trek all the time.
I'm not as big a fan or experienced veteran of the Star Trek lore as all of you have shown me that you are. So this looks really cool to me because I missed out on so much. It's so awesome to have this like solo experience, right? I don't have to be like embarrassed about how much I don't know. I can just learn through actually playing it. This is awesome.
I mean,
yeah, well, that's it sounds. I'm a big Star Trek fan. I admit it. I love Star Trek. Going all the way back to the original, and I would love to play some Star Trek RPG again. And solo, I'm not sure. I mean, okay, we'll see how good. I'd rather play with you guys, or
Aw, that's very sweet.
Aw.
I mean, to that effect, I do like that they added the ability for people to kind of come in on your solo journey and act as your senior staff. But at that point, I'm just like, we might as well be playing the Star Trek TTRPG. But
I mean, it does look cool. I mean, Sarah, who runs Sarah Table on our channel, she loves solo RPGs and
And
journaling
Star
and
Trek.
all stuff like that. And I would maybe. All right, maybe we should let's go on. How about we talk about the Spiel des Jahres? I think you have something for us, Javion.
Yes, congratulations to the winner of Spiel des Jahres. I'm sure you're all very excited
Woohoo!
to hear. The nominees were many. The tension was high. We didn't know who was going to win, and now we know for sure that the winner is Dorfromantik. Dorfromantik, the board game adaptation of the famed video game Dorfromantik. This game set in a world where you have endless possibilities of creating your tiled layout of a large village. So what you're doing is, in the video game anyway, you're collecting these hex tiles where you're placing them on the board in like a solo game way. It's really just like a virtual board game. Well, they turned it into a board game and it won the Spiel des Jahres because, I mean, it's such a great design. What you're doing is you're competing to lay these hex tiles down, sort of, Catan-esque, right? Where you're placing the tiles so that they match the edges of other tiles and make long streams or long tracks of railroad or connect lots of villages together to earn more points. And you even get these little missions that you can complete. It's super fun. It's really this cool way to sort of have like a relaxing experience. That's what everybody who talks about Dorfromantik says. It's a very relaxing experience to just lay these tiles down any way you want to in your own sort of like board, but you're competing with other people to do the same thing. So it was a really fun video game and definitely deserved the award. Now, there are some other winners as well, such as the Kennerspiel des Jahres, one of my absolute top 3 favorite games of all time, Challengers. This is a game that I initially wrote off for its sort of like silly, I don't know, third-party feel when I looked at the box. But when you actually get down into like the actual core gameplay, it's a game that plays itself. It's a card game where you're collecting these cards and then you have them fight against one another. And I'm addicted. I've been playing it every single day on Board Game Arena, and you can too. If you want to try it out, I definitely recommend it. And finally, we have the winner of the Kinderspiel des Jahres, which is, the sort of kids award, the kids game award. We have Mysterium Kids. It's the kids version of the classic famed sort of very popular Mysterium board game, where one person plays as a ghost and everyone else is tasked with trying to solve the murder of the ghost by being paranormal detectives. The ghost in question can't speak, so they have to hand out all of these vivid cards with different art on them, and people have to interpret them to figure out who did it, with what weapon, and in what location, even though they're looking at the dead body right there. So it's a really fun game and definitely a great way to adapt it for a younger audience. And it won the Kinderspiel des Jahres this year. Congratulations to all of the Des Jahres winners. You definitely all deserved it. I think this is a great spread of people who definitely built some really quality games.
Yeah, it's a very, very prestigious awards program. I think the tabletop gaming industry waits for this announcement every year, and I agree, Javion. Congratulations to everyone who's won this very prestigious award.
Okay, so now that it's actually won a Des Jahres award, maybe you all will actually play Challengers with me.
I refuse. I refuse.
I don't know about challenges, but I just want to say something in regards to Mysterium real quick. I don't like to brag, but I have to expose myself here. I am the best in the world at being terrible at that game. I can never win that game. I don't get it. I just wanted to put that up there.
Well, Noir, they have a kids version just for you. You can try it. It's the easy version for people who are struggling at the game. It's perfect for you. You're gonna play it. You're gonna love it.
Yeah, well, I would play, but what I really want to point out, Javion, is that was a record 13 minutes until you mentioned challengers. So
Well, what can I say? It's a noteworthy, worth talking about game.
There you go. Well, hey, speaking of awards, I think there's an award program here in the US of A that Noir is going to tell us about.
Oh, I'd love to tell you all about it. So 2023 any award best RPG shortlist. It's out here, and we've got Fabula Ultima, Passion de la Passions, and Trophy. It makes the 2023 shortlist here. Quick shout out to Chase Carter for this fantastic article. The nominations for 2023's Ennies awards have been announced, revealing the finalists for one of the largest awards in the tabletop space. Held annually since 2001, the Ennies claim to the highlight of the best TTRPG in several categories voted on by the public. Last year, Thirsty Sword Lesbians cleaned house when it snagged the two most prestigious awards. This year's playing field is even more this year's playing field is more level by comparison, however. In fact, established RPGs from companies such as Wizards of the Coast, Paizo, and Modiphius seem to have been outshined by games from small teams and independent creators in almost every category. So let's take a look at some of the names here. We've got Best Game, Fabula Ultima by Need Games. Rooster Games, Flabbergasted by The Wanderer's Tome, Passion de la Passions by Brandon Lee Gambetta, Brendan Conway, and Claudia Sanchez Juarez. Slug Blaster, Kickflip Over a Quantum Centipede by Wilkie's Candy Lab, and Trophy RPG by the Gauntlet Gaming Community and Hedge Maze Press. There's also Product of the Year and Judges Spotlights. Definitely recommend giving this article a look so you can run down the games yourself, see if some of your favorites have made it, and give some a try based on the name alone. Like, I have not had a chance to get my hands on Flabbergasted, but I love that word so much that I am sure to play it at some point this Gen Con.
It's a Roaring 20s comedy RPG system, and it looks so good. We are in the resurgence of the 20s, y'all. And this
oh
is
my
so cool.
goodness. I guess you could say that I'm pretty flabbergasted at that.
Oh gosh, save us, Bonsai. Save us.
Well, you know what? I want to go ahead and tell you all there's been a huge thing. If you are into Cthulhu Wars and have been waiting for that Kickstarter update, this is just a hot out of the presses from just like a few days ago that came in. So if you don't know, last month Peterson Games made an unfortunate announcement that despite multiple rounds of additional funding, they needed more help to cover shipping costs of the latest Cthulhu Wars Kickstarter campaign. This is just unfortunately due to COVID and other transportation factors that they weren't just suddenly came upon in this business. 87 pallets were sitting in Gamerati's warehouse, but it cost about extra $1,600 per pallet to ship them. Peterson Games plan to ship as many as they can each month as they could afford. But that would be about maybe 6 pallets a month, meaning that it would take about 18 months to ship all the pallets within the United States. They offered backers, to try to chip in more to expedite that process. So of course, a lot of sad news. People are like, oh no, we're going to have to wait another year or so to get this game. But on Tuesday, Peterson Games basically announced on their Kickstarter that an anonymous backer had stepped forward and provided all the funds to all the remaining U.S. orders. That comes out to about over $142,000. $142,000. There's just somebody randomly just giving it to them, and also anybody who already contributed some money to ship those pallets already got their money back.
Nice.
So that's just insane.
Wow.
So now Peterson Games is saying that they'll be shipping 7 pallets a day out of Gamerati. So people are going to be getting it back, and hopefully within the end of the month, everyone who's been waiting for the Cthulhu Wars games are going to get it. It's a beautiful set if you haven't seen this, and this is just updated right on the Kickstarter that they said. Unfortunately, we don't know about Canada, the EU, and Asia Pacific regions. But if you're in the US, somebody was generous, I don't know. Man, it would be nice to be that person, be like, you know what? I like this board game enough, and I want to make sure everybody gets it. Here's $150,000.
Wow. Crazy. All right. Well, for the next headline, this headline was brought to us by Matt Jarvis at Dicebreaker. Terraforming Mars will receive a revamped single-player variant in an upcoming solo mode expansion. Terraforming Mars Optima is the working title. Enoch Frexilius, CEO of the game's family-owned publisher, Frex Games, which includes designer Jacob and artists Isaac and Daniel, revealed on Facebook that the studio is currently working on a dedicated solo expansion to the 2016 game that would introduce a new way of handling its solitaire challenge. The original Terraforming Mars does include a way to play with a single player by challenging the player to reach specific levels in the game's 3 key terraforming parameters: oxygen, temperature, and ocean tiles, before the end of 14 rounds. Enoch said that the existing solo mode designed by Jacob had been created to offer a single-player experience with minimal changes to Terraforming Mars multiplayer rules, but admitted that the use of cards designed with multiple players in mind had led to a lack of balance, with some corporations faring better against the single-player challenge. The planned solo expansion for Terraforming Mars will introduce dedicated elements, including cards and other components designed specifically for use with a single player. Rather than testing the lone player against the clock, the expansion will simulate rival corporations using what Isaac described as algorithms. The simulation of a multiplayer match also means that Terraforming Mars' other expansions will be supported by the solo mode as well as the base game. The new solo expansion will be designed by Nick Shaw and David Turksey, who have previously worked together on hefty dice game Rome and Roll and solo modes for various games, including Carabiria, Caesar, and Mythic Mischief. Shaw previously designed a solo bot for Terraforming Mars last summer under the name MarsBot, which has released as a free print and play add-on. This expansion will be available during the publisher's next crowdfunding campaign for Terraforming Mars 6 expansion, Prelude 2, planned for launch in September.
Yes,
Wow.
I love me some Terraforming Mars. I even have the deluxe big honkin' set with all the 3D printed little areas where you can even have there's that one display that has the you can nuke Mars. So I have that
Why was that the first one you thought of?
because it's the coolest little model on there, and I've only got to use it once. Okay, there's only been one game where we've gotten to nuke Mars.
I'm with you, Bonsai. I think Terraforming Mars is a great game. I think it's hit our table many times. I love a couple of the expansions I really like too. I like the special map, the Elysium expansion. I like Prelude. Interested in seeing what Prelude 2 looks like. I gotta say that the theme for today seems to be solo gaming, and I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna hold myself back. I'm gonna tell you what I think of solo board gaming. I mean, come on, board gamings are for all of us to play together as a group. I mean, that's the main argument for why tabletop games are better than video games. If you're gonna play by yourself, then that argument no longer is valid. You should just play a video game in that point.
I would argue that much like a jigsaw puzzle is a fun activity for many people as well as a solo experience, board games, especially the really good ones, should be able to accommodate many different player sizes, including solo. So I understand where you're coming from, Peter. We should all have our choice whether or not to play by ourselves or to play with others. There are a lot of introverts out there, I believe.
Well, I can't argue with
that
choice. I can't argue with choice. So maybe we'll just have to leave this argument for another time and
I will
move
say
on
one
to
real quickly. I just wanted to say I am a fan of Terraforming Mars, especially their solo game mode. Super fun, and I definitely agree. They definitely had a lot of balancing issues. I never thought we would actually see a solo game expansion. So this is really cool to see. Except that they're teasing the AI player and getting that revamp, and that's like the whole problem that I even had with the solo game in the first place. They said they're going to use like what algorithms, rhythms. Is that what you said? What does that even mean?
I just quoted. Everybody's trying to jump on the AI craze, Javion. Come on. All right, we're out of time. We got to move on. Bundle boss. Bonsai. No, Javion, you're the bundle boss. So just keep on talking, but switch topics.
Oh, thank you very much. Yes, I am your bundle boss today. Let me just put on my bundle boss hat here.
Oh,
all
you
right.
got a bundle boss hat. Oh my gosh.
Hopefully the camera lets me actually show it to you.
Oh, it's doing really funny things to your image.
I'm getting very festive for the bundles today because it's a very special bundle from our friends over at Bundle of Holding. Thank you again for putting out such cheap ways to play RPGs for everybody. Vagabond! As the Airy dynasties wage war against the invading Marquis des Cats, and the Woodland Alliance rebels against both, animals in clearings across the deep forest seek help from you, the outsiders and outcasts, criminals and ideologues, exiles and mercenaries. In Root the role-playing game from Magpie Games, you'll fight for one of many sides, braving dangers no one else will face and walking the line between banditry and heroism. As you change the course of the war, you'll reshape the woodland and maybe at last find your place in it. This bundle is one of the cheapest RPG bundles I've seen in a very, very long time. For just the low price of $14.95, you get everything the Root RPG has to offer, from the core rulebook to the Travelers and Outsiders expansion, as well as the quick start sets, not one, not two, but 4 Root quick start sets, so you are able to jump into a game as soon as possible. Once again, as always, Bundle of Holding is going to donate a portion of the proceeds collected by this bundle, 10% of your payment, in fact, to Direct Relief, a charity that sends protective gear and critical care medications to health workers, not just in the US, but response agencies all around the world. Check out this bundle. You've got 10 days before it's gone forever.
Wow. Well, I was trying to figure out how that hat is staying in position.
Right?
Yeah, how is it?
I've been watching it like balance this whole time.
It's actually not a real hat. It's a chat. What is it? Those fake. What is it called? Layering. Oh gosh darn it! Face app. No, it's not face app. What am I thinking of?
It's a virtual object.
Yes, it's virtual. It's totally a virtual
Filter.
object.
Yeah,
not
this is an NFT that I bought.
Yeah, and it interacts with your hands really well too. That's pretty impressive. Okay, well, let's I think it's time to move along to Crowdfunder Court. And I am going to open session for today's session of Crowdfunder Court with my proposition for the court, X-Crawl Classics. Welcome to X-Crawl, a fantasy world where the most popular sport is live-streamed extreme dungeon crawling. That's right. Professional adventurers team up to challenge a dungeon judge, or DJ, in a manufactured dungeon, with the whole event streamed live on spell phones empire-wide. The DJ builds a dungeon inside an arena with all the classic elements: horrific monsters, lethal traps, enticing treasures, magical hazards, secret doors, puzzles, and more. The DJ forces strategic thinking by manufacturing improbable situations that simply could not be discovered in a standard fantasy setting. War horses with trapped exploding saddles, hang gliding, velociraptors, jello golems bursting through brick walls, and goblin go-kart racing. I just want to throw in, this actually sounds a lot like what D&D was like in the 1970s. But anyway, let's go back. The players crawl their way through the DJ's dungeon, winning battles, collecting fabulous prizes, and powering up with magic treasure while plugging their sponsors, posing for the camera, and taking selfies for the audience. Successful crawl teams become superstar influencers, rich on endorsement deals, and riding the celebrity lifestyle. Unsuccessful crawlers die in the dungeon as yesterday's news. Or, if they're lucky, retire injured to a sideshow, living as a referee or a backstage monster handler. The crowdfunder is brought to you by Goodman Games. It is live on Kickstarter. It has raised over $200,000 versus a goal of $10,000 and has 20 days to go. I gotta admit, I'm intrigued with the meta of streaming a game about streaming.
Yeah, it's a lot. We should just do a LARP session of this at Gen Con. Just do it. all the
It'd be
RPG streamers just go in there and
Just
LARPing
can't
your
wait.
characters.
Just can't wait to hear everybody go. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Like it's perfect.
They're really bringing the old school RPG into the modern era, you know.
Yeah. I definitely needed some of that. Well, Javion, I believe you had a submission for the court.
Why, yes, I do. This crowdfunding campaign is called Avant Card. It's the art collection deck building game with 21 days left to go. It was funded in only 36 hours. It plays 1 to 5 players and only takes you about a half an hour, all said and done. There's not a lot to it. There's just a ton of cards with avant-garde art that you are collecting for your public show. You get to collect these different art cards using their special powers to collect even more. And eventually, if you earn the highest numbered cards, you win the game. So the whole idea is that, I love this quote that the family gamers use to describe it. It's Dominion meets Quacks with some Uno thrown in. Because you're doing a lot of deck building, but you're also trying to match the color of the card with another of the same color, or the number of the card with another of that same number. And you can use the special powers on the card to sort of switch around the colors or the numbers, or give you extra opportunities to chain more cards, get more money, buy more cards, and keep the process and the cycle going forever. It's a really cool design of the box as well. If you take a look at it, you set up the game literally the same way you put it away. You just unfurl the box and it lays out the cards as you're unfurling it, and you immediately get to start playing. It's super cool. I've never really seen a design like that. This was designed by Mary Flanagan. The company that makes it actually spoke to them recently, and it looks like they're going to be at Gen Con. So if you want a little sneak preview of this after you've backed it like I have, all you have to do is head on over to Gen Con. Or if you check out the link that's in chat, you can actually play this game now for free on screentop.gg. They have a link where you can invite your friends and play over the internet. It's a really quick to learn kind of game. It's very simple components, and it's the kind of thing we love here at TableTakes. So you've got 21 days left to back it. It's only $20 if you want to grab yourself a copy, or only $3 if you just want the print and play version. But me, I think I'll be getting the patron of the arts level backer. It's $100, and not only do you get the Kickstarter edition of the game, you support Avant-Garde as a patron of the arts, and it comes with a homemade, engraved, nesting wooden card box for the game. You know how much I love special deluxe components for organizing the game.
We should have Bonsai get the same tier to see which one of y'all gets it first.
Well, as we've seen, for some reason, Bonsai, I don't even know what kind of back alley deal she's got going with the folks at Backer Kit, but for some reason, she gets all of her stuff before I do. So I guess I'll have to go over to Bonsai's place.
She's a Twitch partner. There are benefits, I hear.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is.
Can I just set up a PO box at your place, Bonsai, and I just grab all my stuff from here?
I got extra room. You can chill.
All right, Bonsai. Did I see a last minute sliding into the court, hoping not to get noticed, that you might have a a submission for the
Kickstarter?
court?
I do. I'm gonna slide this in because I thought I was gonna miss out on telling you about this, but it has 15 hours left on here. If you
Woo.
guys don't know, I'm a big fan of what's called Quest Calendar. Quest Calendar is a day by day RPG where you get like one of these little day flippers, like day by day calendars, and you can flip it and encounter a new adventure every day. This year was sci-fi. Like this year's calendar was very sci-fi themed, and next year's calendar they're going to have a anthropomorphic animal or very much mouse guard root kind of themed game that's going on. It's if you like animals and you like fantasy and you want to play in an animal like fantasy world, this is the pledge for you. It literally has 15 hours to go. You can pay for the early bird special, which is you get the PDF and the quest calendar flipper itself, and some dice for $20. I contributed to a higher vat because they have nicer stuff. Like you should see, if you go on higher tiers, they have cards, they got dice trays, they got like leather dice bags and all kinds of goodies. Markable, erasable. You can reuse them again, so you don't have to just use them for a year. This is just a really fun campaign you can do. It comes with collectible cards, and you get to play a lot of very cute, fuzzy creatures. The more people back it, the better creatures we get that are unlocked. I think we already just unlocked a bluebird and some other like marsupial people to add on to there. There's just a lot of really, it's really cute. Okay, it's a really cute animal themed RPG. You guys want to go ahead and get it? I really like Quest Calendar. It's the best, and it's also very accessible if you can't get the physical copy. They have it for PDF versions, and if you jump on this sooner, the cheaper it is for you and the more goodies you can get. So
I mean, if you didn't have enough cute, like with Root, we got Root RPG, and now this, I know this is right. Noir, this is right up your alley, ain't it?
Yeah,
and the dice are orange.
I just
the dice
love
are
all
orange.
this cute stuff.
You get to play a squirrel ranger that's like stabs people with your stick.
I don't want to play a murder squirrel.
Why not play a murder squirrel? What's wrong with being a murder squirrel?
Because I want to play a murder Michael Cera. That's why.
All right. Well, thank you, Bonsai. Order in the court. Order in the court. All right, that concludes our segment of crowdfunding court. The court is in mayhem as usual. We will try and restore some order before the next round. All right, let's go to our interview. We have a very special guest today, Chelsea Steverson from Kobold Press. And Bonsai, you're gonna do the transition music for us as we bring in Chelsea?
Thank you so much, Little Red Dot, for joining us from Kobold Press. I want to say how we are so impressed by you coming and telling us what's what. Oh my God, got orange glasses. More bonus points.
Woohoo, Chelsea. Dot, welcome to TableTakes. How are you today?
Hello, everyone. I'm well. How are you?
Fabulous. We're great.
Good.
We're just
liked
bouncing off the
your
walls.
energy. I know. I could feel it. It was palpable.
Perfect. That's what we aim to do here. So tell us, so you work at Kobold Press. Tell us about, well, let's start with the basics. Tell us about Kobold Press,
Right.
what you do there, and then what the big news is.
Yeah. Well, hi, everybody. I'm Chelsea or Dot. You can call me either. I'm the marketing director for Kobold Press, and I spend my days in the Warrens with the rest of the Kobolds making all kinds of tabletop books. If you haven't heard, we have a pretty exciting book that just closed on Kickstarter, Tales of the Valiant, actually 2 books, which started as Project Black Flag. So since January, I feel like that's like what I eat, sleep, and breathe is Project Black Flag into Tales of the Valiant. And then, I do my own streaming and tabletop writing on the side.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of show and tell to do. I am a big fan of Kobold Press, and I'm sure so many of the rest of us are as well. I've been running a Scarlet Citadel campaign
Oh, nice.
for over a year now, and they literally just this week got to level 2 of the 4-level dungeon.
It is an intense dungeon. Chat, I adjusted myself just a little bit. Let me know if that's better. Scarlet Citadel is rough. I actually told somebody just yesterday, I don't think I've ever run it where somebody's managed through with the same character. Everybody ends up playing, their characters never make it all the tiers of the dungeon. It is super deadly.
Yeah, I have the map folio and all the cool maps and like the little overlays for all of the maps. It's so cool. Also, if this tells you anything about my DMing style, I need a lot of help. So I have a lot of the Kobold guides. I've got the plots and campaigns book.
Nice,
I've got
yes.
the world building book. Oh, there we go. And I've got the book of magic as well.
I feel like I'm so impressed with you. Our guides are like a little known Kobold fact most of the time. Like people find the guides as they dive into our stuff, but the guides are some of our best published work because we get people throughout the industry to come and basically write these mini essays covering all the many facets of all the various aspects of tabletop gaming. And they always turn out to just be really exciting and rich books full of like good information, no matter where you sit at the table, you know?
I found them super useful. I really hope that there are more out there that are coming. Because
there are always, I was about to say, there are always more guides in the work, and we are actually putting out a new line of product. We put our first one out, and our second one is fast approaching. But a campaign builder, which is all guides for building better campaigns. So these are a little bit more hands-on books than say just the regular guides are. But you can check out our campaign builder series. You might find good use in that.
Yes. Also check out the cities and towns guide.
That's the one. That's the campaign builder book. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Because I love the PDF that I got.
Campaign builder cities and towns. It's one of my favorite too.
There are some impressive writers on that. I think Gabe was one of the contributors to that one.
Gabe's an incredible writer. Yeah, anytime Gabe's on something, I'm like, oh, this one's gonna be good. I'm gonna get a limited edition cover of this one.
Right? All right, I've got 2 questions, if I may, Doc.
Yeah.
One, it was Project Black Flag for a while, and it's changed the project to Tales of the Valiant.
Yeah.
Is there any reason for the change? I'm just genuinely curious.
So yes. So, and it's funny you say that because we actually announced a really big thing today. This may be the first time I've talked about it, like other than our blog, which announced it like T-4 hours ago. So Project Black Flag was kind of a project name for which we give to everything that Kobold Press works on behind the scenes, right? It's like any video game company, you got to keep your stuff private, right? So when we started working on what would inevitably become Tales of the Valiant, which we didn't know that at the time, that was his project name. That's just was its in-house project name. And after January of 2023, it was all the more pertinent and relevant. And we moved our timeline up by a year of the original launch date for the product based on the market. And we ended up going with Project Black Flag because we didn't know what we were going to call it yet, because we knew it was going to be a base game, right? And we wanted to have an open, irrevocable license for everybody like to use when it was done, just like how we hope most games put their stuff out. But then we also needed the branded side of things. The actual IP had to go under a like secondary trademark. That's kind of how it works. And so we came up with the CFR, right? The Core Fantasy Role Play. That's the open license. And then we came up with Tales of the Valiant to brand the Kobold Press IP, the art, other things that are in the book, not the actual system itself. As of today, thanks to many questions like the one you just asked, Noir, and the amount of just public love and community feedback we've received regarding Black Flag, we will be changing the open license, the open system that is coming later this year to Black Flag role-playing instead of Core Fantasy role-playing. So we are raising the Black Flag under the community system and the license that's coming out. And so we're really excited to have made that change and being able to actually like put it out and let the community keep that brand.
Yeah, Black Flag is too good a name to not
have. Yeah.
And my second question is, the Kobold Press already has a fantastic world, the world of Midgard. My assumption is that the Tales of the Valiant takes place in that setting. Is that correct? Or
that is kind of correct.
Okay.
So Tales of the Valiant has no direct setting. The only physical that we've given is something called the Labyrinth, which are the many paths that weave together all the worlds of people that tell stories using Tales of the Valiant. So your homebrew game, this actual play show, they all exist in the same world. And the Labyrinth is the way in which these different multiverses are connected, which means Midgard is connected to that, right? To the Labyrinth, just like everything else. And so we wanted Tales of the Valiant to really be about you making a story, because we had Midgard. It's out there. The Midgard World Book is, and it's not obsolete thanks to the backwards compatibility of TOV. But I think we really wanted to make it more open world. We wanted you to be able to take the book and go play and pick up immediately at any game table that you already have. Now, will Midgard go away? Absolutely not. We love Midgard. We have a lot of product and story put into Midgard, so Midgard is not obsolete, like I said, in that either. And we may have other Midgard product come out in the future, much like we've put out in the last few years. But Tales of the Valiant really is coming from a place of needing to build a core standard of what we now build our Midgard book off, our campaign builder cities and towns book. It was time for Kobold Press to, I told people, I said, we're a giant metaphor. We went from 3 kobolds in a trench coat to 5 kobolds in a trench coat, and our trench coat didn't fit anymore. And so we had to change our trench coat, the thing that held us together, and it was time for us to expand and make our own thing. And Tales of the Valiant really is that, with, of course, the wings of the community behind it.
You got to get your artist on drawing a bunch of kobolds changing.
Yeah, that's literally, that's kind of the metaphor. We really just needed a new trench coat. And thanks to the incredible Kickstarter and everybody that kind of came to the table, and even the just open public feedback of sticking with us through the playtest process, which now we've got an alpha release out, so you can check out the alpha. If you back the Kickstarter, you get it for free, but that's 170 pages. It's the first real fully laid out preview of what you might be getting in the final book. And it's got a playtest document out. It's totally public feedback, so you should check out the alpha. You might like that. Good, you can start building characters, and we're starting to release adventures as well. And those adventures are undergoing a nice rebrand, I guess you could say, as well, where we're designing adventures very differently and how we lay them out on the page, how we decipher information, and how usable we make them for both the GM and the player. So our first one actually dropped today as well. So it's a big day for you all to be sitting here interviewing me. Yeah.
This is a big stuff. I mean, I guess with all of this stuff, that community outreaching you're doing, all the playtests you're doing, what can we expect? Gen Con is 2 weeks away. What can we expect there?
Good question. We've got a big presence this year, probably bigger than Kobold Press has ever had. We have launched pre-order for TOV, so you can always drop by the booth. We're 1845. I hope I didn't get that wrong. Okay, it should be burned into my brain by now. We'll have a stand where you can actually pre-order TOV or come talk to our volunteers and our staff if you have questions regarding that. But if you're like me and you're more of a hands-on kind of person, we've got a ton of community play tables, so many community play tables, and a great group of GMs that have come in this year to lead those community play tables. So you can play test TOV for the first time at Gen Con. This is our first live community play test of it. So Gen Con's giving us our big send-off. So you can drop by if you haven't already. Those tickets are selling out super fast, so you want to check that out. If you prefer, Noir was talking about, our Midgard stuff, our kind of core Kobold, off the Library of Dust, you can actually swing by. We've got community play for that as well. So we give you a kind of a space for both of them. And I think tickets officially sold out today, Noir, but we had some very high tier VIP games for TOV with some pretty awesome people like Cough Cough Noir, who is going to sit in a private room with you and run you through a 4-hour TOV adventure to really get the one-on-one aspect. You get swag bag goodies and all kind of Kobold Press VIP treatment. So those are some things, but we've got panels. If you want to know more about Black Flag, Wolfgang Bauer and Celeste Konowich themselves are going to be sitting on a stage answering questions. So the best thing to do is hit that awesome Gen Con website, type in Kobold Press, and see all the many things that pop up on your schedule, because there's quite a lot going on this year. But we'll be there in full. Look for our Kobold Press t-shirts.
Cool.
Very nice.
So for somebody who's not at all familiar with TOV, can you explain a little bit about the mechanics of it and how it's played?
Absolutely. So TOV is takes the SRD, the 5e SRD that is now open to the public, and we have adopted it and kind of added a Kobold Press spin. So some of the differences that you'll see come in just sheer and basic vocabulary, right? Lineage and heritage are used in place of some other words that may be used that you might see frequently in 5th edition. We have new concepts of how we break magic down for you based on circles and rings. So a better new kind of leveling system. We've dropped, we've added something called, oh goodness, talents, right? Talents are kind of taking the place of feats, and these talents start at level 1. So you're going to find that actually TOV in terms of 5e balance will be a little bit more powerful, but your character starting at level 1 will feel more awesome at the game table. You're immediately going to feel like you've stepped into the shoes of being an adventurer instead of so sad that you died by the single goblin on a cart. You know what I mean? So there's I would say that if you like Kobold Press products, you're going to find that just like our monster books, just like our other products, tend to be a little bit more difficult, high tier. TOV kind of adopts that and starts it from level 1 in the book. Of course, we're well known for our monsters and our monster designs. So you are going to find with the SRD, you have no monster descriptions and no art. And so we are putting in brand new art for all of the SRD fantasy monsters you know and love, as well as a series of new Kobold Press ones coming to our core system. Yeah, they're going to be, they are actually already out. I say that you can't get them in your hands. The pre-sales are out. I shouldn't get you too excited. That doesn't happen until next year, everybody. But the books are on sale, and you can go ahead and pre-order those now if you didn't back at the Kickstarter. And it's 2 books. You get the Player's Handbook and the Monster Vault, which come in a nice like bound box that you can kind of slip them in a slipcase, or you can buy each one individually and separately, and they'll be ready to go and ready for you to start playing. We've been in open playtest, and you can still download those playtest packets. So if you're interested, you can actually head to talesofthevaliant.com, and you can get all those playtest packets totally for free. So you can see both the evolution and the change leading up to the alpha release, which is what is out now and what we'll be playtesting at Gen Con.
Just from my experience with doing the playtest, I noticed that one of the things that is different from this in comparison to 5e standard is that there's a lot more engagement, or there's a lot more choices in the sense of, like, for example, if you're a fighter, you can quite literally wind up your attack to do more damage, or you can aim and that sort of thing. I wanted to know if that was part of the design philosophy with putting this together.
Yeah, I hate to speak for Celeste, but I have had the great joy of getting to hear Celeste talk about the design process in the dungeon walls of the Warrens. And so I think one of the things that Celeste really wanted is magic already felt cool, but we wanted to answer the question of like, how can we make it cooler? Right? How can we make it really feel like it's not as simple as like choosing spells before a game? We want to get rid of the meta. We want to make you feel like the magic is part of the story. That was really Celeste's goal. And she felt the same way about a lot of our martial class fighters in the current design in 5th edition. And Celeste brought some really, if you haven't playtested it, you should, some really incredible options to how we now involve the martial class leveling and the martial class building in a little bit more story. And the same thing really with magic. You're going to find that they are categorized differently than what you're used to, right? For kind of rings of magic. And yeah, it's I don't want to spoil too much because I really want you to just go get the free playtest and tell me what you think. But you can also show up in Gen Con and tell us what you think. But yeah, you should take a chance, roll some dice. It's going to feel very, very familiar. And then the things that don't are going to feel really, really cool, like luck points, which players now get, or doom points, which GMs now get. Oh, yes. To spend here or there to make a combat. You know, how often are we like, oh, I'm going to add an extra goblin because they really just tore through that chief. You know what I mean? Like, and you're trying to add stuff. The doom points are there as a mechanic for the GM to actually get to spend to up the ante in the middle of an encounter. It's built into the mechanics of the game. So, yeah, check it out. We have been very transparent about the process from the time we announced it in January until literally like 2 weeks ago. We have posted a blog every Friday with updates on it, on the partners that are helping us work on it. You can expect it on your VTTs, all of them. and being able to partner leading up to Gen Con really actually being our final playtest in the process before we go into the closed process of finished writing and then print to release next year. So Gen Con is like both a celebration because it's our first live playtest, but it's also the closeout of the TOV like playtest process before our writers put final product out. So we're really celebrating with Gen Con this year in the TOV train. Toot toot.
I'm so excited.
I haven't seen the Paladin yet, and so I'm just gonna leave with this. Dot, please, please make sure that Smite's still there.
Oh, you need Smite. Okay, well, this is I can hear it now. Celeste is gonna go send them to the feedback form. Please go to the feedback form. There's an open feedback form for every playtest where you can tell us exactly what you think, just like Noir just did, and give us the things that you love and the things that you don't love. And we've actually made major changes since putting the playtest out based on the things that y'all were like, we don't like this, or like, please bring this back. We really try to respond to what you're saying because, again, this game is a reflection of what the community really needed.
So you've heard the advice here from Dot. If you're watching TableTakes today, for Noir, please go to the Kobold Press feedback forum and emphasize that the paladins need to smite. Yes, the smite
Leave
ability.
smite.
Paladins smite or be smited.
Yeah, smite or be smited. I can
That's
hear
our
customer
plus.
service now. It's like, why are all these
Yes.
people sending us these emails that say smite or be smited?
Smited. That's right.
So
Well,
one more
thank you.
time,
Thank
we-
you very much. Javian, you got one quick question?
Yeah, just real quickly.
Yeah.
One more time. We can find more events for Gen Con on the Gen Con website, correct? And
Correct.
what was the booth number that we can
Yeah,
find you at?
1845. Look us up under Kobold Press. If you're interested specifically in TOV, you can search Tales of the Valiant or Project Black Flag to bring up the things that we're specifically doing in tandem with that project. Other than that, we'll see you there. And if you want to know more about TOV, you can visit the website talesofthevaliant.com.
Thank you very much, Chelsea, for joining us today. It's a
Thank you
pleasure
so
to
much.
have you on. Please stick around until we get through our outro. Yes, please, if you're watching TableTakes, please stick around because after the show, next at 3:30 p.m., we have TableTakes Game Night, Monster of the Week. And then at 5 o'clock, we will have some joyful gaming around Sarah's table with more Sleepaway Part 2. We have shows all week long, though. Monday, 9 a.m. Come watch me play AIs of strategy games with Peter of the Machine. Peter versus the Machine. See, the machine is trying to corrupt me. Oh, and then at 4 p.m. on Monday, board games with the Brothers Murph. And then at 6 p.m. on Monday, Dress to Quest. On Tuesday, our new show that just started this last week, Indie by Night, our first show of Vampire the Masquerade. Wednesdays, 4 p.m., Path of the Brush, our miniatures painting show. Thursday, 10 a.m., Blood on the Clock Tower, our social deduction show. 4 p.m. on Thursday, Roll with Rem Alternus for all things Shadowrun. And then back to us, TableTakes, 2 p.m. next Friday, and game night in Sarah's table. And we just keep doing it. We just keep going. Well, at least for another week. And then we're going to have Gen Con. So definitely join us there. And we will be at Gen Con, by the way. We will all be at Gen Con. We'll be streaming every day of Gen Con in various ways, incarnations, doing various things. So thank you for coming and watching TableTakes. Thanks for following us and all that stuff. We appreciate you. We love you. And remember, if you miss any of our shows, the VODs, the video on demand versions they stay up on Twitch for about a month. And also they get posted on Gen Con TV video channel on YouTube. Gen Con Video is the name of the channel on YouTube. All right. That's it for me and for us and for all of you for TableTakes. See you next week. Again, stick around, 3:30. Game night. Bye. Welcome to Peter versus the Machine. I am Peter.
Tell me when we're going live, Nick. Just tell me when we're going live.
Welcome to Actoroki, set in the world of Chaldea right here.
One more dose of betrayal.
Hi everybody, welcome to Dress to Quest.
I'm your host, Ren. Welcome to Rules of Cool.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Sarah's Table, and welcome to TableTakes. It is
to another TableTakes game night.
Welcome to studio night. Thank you so much for being here.